Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of White versus Mock.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Good day. Mr. White, you've brought your ex-wife to court today because you believe she mysteriously had your parental rights revoked for a girl you believe was your biological daughter, thus allowing another man to adopt her.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you've petitioned the court for a DNA test and say once the results prove that you are indeed Miss Tasha Mock's biological father, you would like her mother to pay you $5,000 for fraud resulting in emotional distress.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Mock, you claim the only reason your daughter was adopted by another man is because you don't believe Mr. White is actually her biological father. In fact, you're adamant that you don't owe him a single dollar, and it's your hope that when today's test results are revealed, Mr. White will leave you and your daughter alone for good.
Yes.
So, Mr. White, obviously you feel you've been lied to. Please explain to the court why.
Your Honor, in the early 1980s, Julia and I were married, and she birthed me a son 10 months afterwards. A year later, she was pregnant with Tasha, and I ended up going to jail. She was 2 months pregnant when I went to jail. 7 months after I went to jail, she gave birth to Tasha. At that time, she must have believed I was the father because she put my name on the birth certificate. I was not able to do anything about it because I was incarcerated. 30 days after Tasha was born, she brought her to the jail, let me hold her. The day afterwards, I was shipped upstate for 10 years. Now, a couple years after that, Julia had filed and petitioned the court for divorce in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's allowed because I was incarcerated for a period exceeding 2 years. About a year after that, she petitioned the court to involuntarily terminate my parental rights to both my son and to Tasha. I acted as my own attorney because I had nothing but time, so I went to the law library and I taught myself law, and acting as my own attorney, I fought it in court and I won. And at that time, it was the opinion. It was the opinion of the judge at that time that Julia, or Miss Mock, had intentionally moved with the children on at least 3 different occasions, so all the letters and the cards that I had sent over the course of time to their grandparents' place never got to them.
And as a part of the judgment,
she was ordered to bring the children down to the prison to visit me. She was also ordered to collect calls from me as long as I used my prison wages and was able to cover at least half of the cost.
that was good lawyering.
Thank you, Your Honor.
At some point, your rights were completely taken away.
Mrs. Mock had told me that she was going to have Tasha adopted anyway because she was not my daughter, that another man had sired her. That was the first time. That's the first time there was ever any question in my mind, really, that she was my daughter or not.
Ms. Mock.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are submitting to this court that Mr. White is not, in fact, her biological father?
I don't believe so.
Please explain why, specifically.
He was always leaving me, going out with other women. Why should I have to deal with that?
So are you saying because he would leave you and go out with other women, you would sleep with other men?
Nope, I supped with one other. I was dating him. And when I got home from the grocery store, Mr. White was sitting holding my son, I was pregnant, and told the gentleman to leave.
Okay, but you were married to Mr. White.
Yes, and that's why his name is on the birth certificate.
But you were sleeping with this other man.
Yes.
So therefore, it's your belief that you were sleeping with this man that truly is Miss Mock's biological father, but because you were married to Mr. White, you put his name on the birth certificate.
Yes, because the other gentleman walked out of my life too.
Miss Mock.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who did you actually think was your father growing up?
I believed my adopted father was my father until I heard my grandmother on the phone, and she stated that there was another gentleman.
How old were you then?
7 or 8.
And is that the only time in your lifetime that you heard you could have another possible father?
No, after my brother had passed away, I found adoption papers and stuff. That's
What did you read on those papers?
that my father was not Don White. It was another gentleman.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
And so did you find a birth certificate as well?
Yes, when I was 16, I had found a birth certificate. My mother and I were going through a trunk, and we found my birth certificate, and on it had Mr. White's last name.
Did you question your mother?
Oh, absolutely. And she stated just that I was a mock.
So she basically didn't deny the fact that this man, Mr. White, was your father on your birth certificate, but she just said you're a mock now?
Yeah.
Do you remember this day, Ms. Mock?
Oh, yeah.
Explain to the court how you remember it.
I stopped the visitations to the jail, and that's when my new husband had said that he would adopt them. We went into court to adopt them, and that was when it all blew.
Mr. White, how could she be adopted if you hadn't relinquished your right?
That's one of my biggest arguments, Your Honor, is that the Indiana County Court of Pennsylvania illegally allowed Tasha to be adopted. These people have accosted me 30 years of being able to just experience with my daughter growing up. They've denied her the right to know her natural father. This is a God-given right to everybody.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Ms. Ma, what is the motive behind all of this?
I was trying to protect them.
So you were trying to protect your children because you didn't want them to have to go back and forth to jail to visit their father, or were you trying to protect Tasha because you didn't believe Mr. White was her father?
That was partial.
How did you manage to get another man to adopt your daughter when he never relinquished his legal right?
The judge just signed the papers.
Tasha, I have to ask you, at what point did you just decide, I want to know the truth?
Well, when I was 26, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and I put a lot of thought into it. I was blind and I couldn't walk, so I had nothing but time to sit and think about it. And then when I had turned 28, I got my vision back, and 29, I reached out to Mr. White on Facebook.
You did?
I did.
August 23rd. She had sent me a text out on Facebook that night. I have a copy of it here.
I'd like to see it, please.
She told me that she had been born Tasha Renee White. She wanted to know if I was her father. She was trying to find the things out. We got on the phone. Within an hour or two, I was on the road to her house.
How did it feel when you first saw her?
I don't know the words to express it because there was such a warmth and a flood that come over me when I got to wrap my arms around her. It was like nothing in the world mattered at that point. You know, it's a 30-year battle is over. I finally won. That's how I felt.
You say these 30 years have been filled with so much pain.
Yes, I have. I lost my only son, and the first time I saw her was at my son's funeral. She was an angry young woman then, and I understand, and I got blasted pretty good. I was basically asked to leave the funeral.
Your son's funeral? You were asked to leave.
Yes, I was. Tasha didn't want me there. She had been told all her life how much of a bad individual that I was, and she didn't think it was right for me to be there. And from talking with Tasha since we have reconnected, she shared with me that that was a big holdback for her trying to get in touch with me, is because she thought I'd be mad as hell. I said, I understand. You were an angry 14-year-old girl that just lost your best friend in the world.
Mr. White, can you please explain to the court and to Ms. Mock the basis of your suit?
Well, Your Honor, I believe that the emotional distress that I've been put through by the obvious deception by Mrs. Mock is well worth the $5,000 I'm asking for emotional distress. I actually have plans for an investment of that $5,000 into my hopefully granddaughter's future, and that's what I would like to do with this.
I don't owe him anything, not one dime. I raised her, working half shifts and babysitting and making sure that they had a little bit for Christmas every year and putting a little bit of fun into their lives, taking them to Cook's Forest or wherever as a camping trip. That was all me, all my blood, nothing to do with him. And I don't owe him anything. He should owe me at least an apology for leaving me. And that is my child. I don't want to share her anymore.
If Mr. White is deemed to be the biological father today,
he'll take her from me.
That's what you feel?
Yes.
She's a grown woman. Why do you say he'll take her from you? She's not gonna, where's she going? Do you know where or how you can find the other possible father, the other gentleman?
I swear to God, Almighty God up above, I don't know where he is and I don't want to know.
So you're not hoping this other man is the father either?
No.
You're just hoping that when we leave
we
this courtroom
prove that
today,
he is
that
not the father.
you
that
don't
it's
want
all
her to
done.
know who her father is.
She has a father. He adopted her.
Do you understand the need, the desire,
Yes.
the longing in her to know who her biological father is?
Yes.
And as her mother, is there a part of you that wants to provide, to fulfill that need?
Yes.
That's a natural mother's instinct.
Yes, I do. I only want my daughter to be happy because of her illness. I don't know how long she's going to be on this earth. I want her to know that everything that she wants, I will do in my power to make sure she has.
So if in
And
fact
that's
Mr.
why I'm
White is
here.
not the biological father, you would help her find the other gentleman?
No.
I will.
No.
I made a promise to her the day that she reached out to me. I'll do everything I can to help her find the truth.
But, Ms. Mock, do you hear what you're saying?
Yes.
Thank you for that, Mr. White. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on Ms. Mock. On the one hand, you want to make your daughter happy and do what's necessary to make sure she gets the information she needs to be able to live a happy life. On the other hand, if you have to help her find another gentleman that may potentially be her biological father, you're not willing to help. That doesn't make any sense.
He left us.
Okay. But she's trying to find out who her biological father is. It's as if because the men wronged you, you making her suffer for it. Do you see what I'm saying?
You got to walk a mile in my shoes to see my pain.
No, actually, I don't have to. I'm sitting here and I see your pain, but I'm also looking at hers and his. Tasha, could you tell your mother just in your own words, why is it so important to you?
I've had a longing for it for so long, and then when I got diagnosed with the MS, like, okay, is this part of his life or is this part of my mother's world? It's very important for me to know who my biological father is.
Do you hear your daughter?
I hear her.
That's all we ask, just to hear her. I'm ready for the results. Are you?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
30 years.
Tasha, I would like for her to come stand
Oh,
with me as you read
you
the
would like
results.
to see if she could stand with you. Would you like to?
I would like to.
You are more than welcome to, absolutely.
Thank you.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of White versus Mock, pertaining to 30-year-old Ms. Tasha Mock, it has been determined by this court, Mr. White, Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. In the case of White versus Mock, pertaining to 30-year-old Ms. Tasha Mock, it has been determined by this court, Mr. White, are not the father.
Sorry, baby. I'll still help you.
Are you okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. White, are you all right?
Yes, Your Honor, I will be.
I know it's not the news you wanted. You say that you will help her find her biological father if she asks for that help. And I hope you live up to that, Mr. White.
I most certainly will, Your Honor. I told this young lady when she first stepped into my life I'd help her find the truth. So whether she's mine by blood or not, she's still mine by spirit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ms. Mock, what I encourage you today, though, is to think about the pain that you felt feeling abandoned by the men you've loved. Do not pass those feelings down to your daughter by denying her the information that could possibly lead her to finding who her biological father is. Okay?
Yes.
Mr. White, as it relates to your suit, because this court has determined that you are in fact not Ms. White's biological father, and you couldn't prove that she intentionally had someone misrepresent the court, I have to deny your claim. Judgment for the defendant. Ms. Mock, they want to move on. Can you move on with them?
Yes.
Try. This court has resources for you. I wish you all the best of luck. Court is now adjourned.